So that this is why I took that plan. So whosoever wants to do, I guess they should just go for it. And like I said, the approach should be calculative. You should know that we have seen there are many 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are doing really amazing. And then there are many 30, 35-year-olds who are failing at startups. So it's not that age is the right thing, but if you think you have the maturity to take care of yourself and to face the result for next 1 year, because it is not going to be easy. You go alone and it's going to be difficult, but if you're ready to take it, just go for it. I guess things will fall in place eventually. Me. So that this is why I took that plan. So whosoever wants to do, I guess they should just go for it. And like I said, the approach should be calculative. You should know that we have seen there are many 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are doing really amazing. And then there are many 30, 35-year-olds who are failing at startups. So it's not that age is the right thing, but if you think you have the maturity to take care of yourself and to face the result for next 1 year, because it is not going to be easy. You go alone and it's going to be difficult, but if you're ready to take it, just go for it. I guess things will fall in place eventually.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Angry Coach. Today, I am extremely excited to host Mamta along with us. Mamta is an extremely young co-founder, and she's a co-founder of PrepBytes. It's an organization that she set up to help engineering students be better prepared for the entire job market. She's also led the organization through a successful merger along with College Dekho, and into which she is now continues to contribute. Mamta, thank you so much for being a part of the Angry Coach podcast today.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you for having me.
My first question to you: what makes you angry?
Okay. So I think there are a lot of things. Especially when you are a startup, I think when you are running a startup, you want things to be, done with maximum passion, and, that perfection thing is out there. But I'll say, if I have to summarize what makes me really angry in general, is that when I see, something is getting done with, I'll say, I see that someone is doing something, but there is lack of passion. Be anything, like if you are living your life, but I just see, I see some people, they're just living it and not trying their best, or for that matter, not having passion to do something, or for that matter, if you're in your job, let's say, even if you're asked to clean your cupboard, you should be doing it with entire passion. So no matter what you do, there shouldn't be lack of passion. And I think that is something is something that really makes me angry. I want that whatever work I am doing, or whoever is doing, they should not be like, "Acha chalo chalta hai," and let's just get it done. Rather, you should be doing it with I'll not say perfection, but you should be doing with all your passion that you have. Perfection, I think, eventually will come if you're trying to give your best. So yeah, passion and not giving best to any job that you're doing. I think that makes me a little bit angry.
Wow. So the absence of passion in whatever I am doing is something that makes you angry. Is that correct?
Yeah, right.
That is such an interesting thing. And this entire chalta hai attitude that we bring to our jobs,
Yes.
कि चलो यार नौकरी कर लेंगे, खत्म कर देंगे.
Yes.
You really want people to come out of that and get into something that they are truly passionate about.
Yeah. So basically, this is what we found, that the entire education system, everyone involved, be it be student, be it be college, be it be teachers, if everyone are like, whatever I am doing, I'll be doing it with complete passion, and I'm going to give my best. So I think we will not require, organizations like PrepBytes or any other institution. So everyone will be able to fix it. So we saw that if you see even in education, you will see that the completion rate is so less. Be it be self-driven courses, or be it be live classes, they are paying the money. They're paying lakhs of money. Students are paying lakhs of money, but they're not attending classes. So this is what, it's not just about job, but whatever, like I said, whatever you are doing, you should be doing it with your, I'll say, you should be doing it your best. You should be giving it your best and push yourself.
You should be giving it your best. Very interesting. Which brings me to this entire PrepBytes. Tell us more about PrepBytes, how you started, what's the journey been like?
Okay. So I'll say the journey has been great. Uh, Lots of ups and downs, and I think I used to say it when what happens that when you get into the entrepreneurial journey, you or any you always see the high valuation news and then all the limelight that entrepreneurs get. Maybe if someone will be hearing this podcast, they'll be like, "Wow, amazing! It's so nice giving podcasts and all." But what we don't see is uh, enormous amount of struggle that an entrepreneur has to go across. So how we started, so I come from a tech background. So I was working as a developer. So I worked as a developer first in Samsung. And while I was there, I was trying to switch to any sort of, I'll say, any other organization. And that is when, I started, I'll say, I used to do problem solving in college, but was kind of not getting hang of it. I was struggling a lot and I thought it is a personal problem. But then when I started doing it again, I changed the approach or the change the way I used to learn. And eventually I was able to crack Amazon. So I thought that this was my problem, but I knew how I could solve it. So when I was in Amazon, I used to get messages over LinkedIn that if I can help folks who are trying to get into, just individual, like give me as any tips, tricks, I have interview at Amazon or these kind of things. So I thought that maybe I can give it back to the community. So I started taking mock interviews over weekends, and I discussed it with Aditya, who is the other co-founder, and he was also in Gurgaon that time. So we decided that I'll take the tech interviews, and he would take the HR round or personality rounds or apti rounds. So when we started taking mock interviews, we realized that the problem is deeper than we thought. Like people who are in final year, they couldn't answer even basic questions that maybe what should be taught and what a first year student should be knowing. And they have companies coming in, let's say 1 week or 2 weeks. So we understood that the problem is out there, and since I was from the same field and I felt about that problem statement, I had myself faced it. So we did a obviously competitive analysis, and that's when I took this plunge. I left my job at Amazon, and for 1 year it was I'll say the first year was majorly around making content, and and even when making content, we tried to hire teachers from colleges, but no one was teaching at the depth that we were looking for. So at the end of the day, I had to go and make content, and our start was really humble. We had one Samsung ka phone, and obviously because I used to get discounts in Samsung, I had Samsung ka phone, and then we had this pen paper thing, and we would record it, and we would like I would legit record 18 hours a day or something like that. So the start was really humble. Like people say that I cannot do it because I have this challenge, that challenge. At the end of the day, if you want to do it, you'll be able to do it. So that's when we started, and eventually, we started realizing that we thought that we'll just put out the content, it will just sell, but that was not happening. So we realized that there's lack of awareness, especially in tier two, tier three colleges. So we started taking a lot of workshops and webinars. So webinar, if you will see, really picked up in COVID. But we used to do it, I'll say even before that. In 2019, early January, I'll say people who were in marketing, they used to like marketing related companies, they used to do it. But EdTech May webinar was not getting used too much. So we started doing it, and the webinar was all about awareness, what you could do if you have to crack a certain level of company. And eventually it picked up, and we started getting students, and we were really committed to each and every student that is coming, and literally, giving them the best experience, because this was told to one of, our mentors that if you are selling something for 100 rupees, give them service of 1,000 rupees. So that is when it is going to grow. So this is how eventually it picked up, and obviously a lot of struggles. Like every day is a struggle. Like it's I'll say it's a really difficult journey. But at the end of the day, I still remember the day when we got to like one of our students got placed in Microsoft. That was the first placement. And I remember she almost gave up that she wouldn't be able to get placed, and we mentored her. So that, that feeling that you have changed someone's life and you're changing someone's life, just, you just, that just keeps you going. So that's how it has been. And then one thing, after other happened, we got a few investments, first angel, and then, VC, and then eventually this acquisition happened.
Very interesting. What a fascinating journey. So you had a personal adversity and then
Yeah.
you worked upon it yourself and you converted that into an opportunity to help so many other people. And if that's not entrepreneurship, I don't know what is. So
Yeah.
first of all, congratulations on this journey of
Thank you.
yours.
Thank you so much.
A lot of times whenever I meet young wannabe entrepreneurs, a common thing that I hear is resistance or objections from parents or hey, listen, you're in a good job, why don't you continue doing that? And a lot of it comes from people who have a background, let's say from the NITs as well as the IITs. How did that happen in your case?
Okay, very interesting question. So I'll answer the parents thing first. So if you
Hmm.
remember, I told you that for 1 year it was all about researching and all. So I wanted
Right.
to start like almost 2, 3 years back. So when I just got into my corporate life, I tried making an app. We called it, it was a ride sharing app. So we were just, I'll say I was hardly 23, 24 that time, but I always wanted to have my own startup, but that didn't work. And I told my father that I want to leave my job and I want to start. So he
Hmm.
didn't approve, and rather he almost didn't talk to me till I said that, okay, I will not leave my job. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, fine. And obviously, I was very young. I didn't have the courage to leave my job without, having my parents on board. So second time the plan was to, set up the startup while having the job and then go and tell my parents and then leave the job. So, but I guess this is a crucial cycle. You never get out of
Hmm.
it. And I've seen many,
Hmm.
many people being in that cycle that they want to set up while they're in job. And especially if you talk about companies like Amazon, the job is very demanding. Like you have to work 9 hours. Like if I get out of office in 9 hours, it's like a happy day for me. Like, oh, I got released early. So it's a demanding job. And it's good also because you're working with best minds of the country. So you have to keep at it. So I was like, okay, what do I do now? I had conversation with one of my mentors at Amazon only, and he suggested that you should just go for it, leave the job. If it doesn't work, come back. So, and I couldn't inform my parents. I lied to them. I said I am leaving
Hmm.
Amazon, but I am joining a startup as a CTO and I'll be getting the salary. I made a
Hmm.
fake offer letter. I went home and they were not happy about it. Not at all. My father was like, why are you leaving such a big company, such a good salary and all of
Correct.
that? But
Correct.
and I took that plunge, and that 1 year, every day I would talk to them. I would tell them that okay, yeah, I came back from office. Yeah, the people are good. So it was hard because I am a complete, that kid who always listens to parents, who is really obedient, that sort of person. But I knew that I'm doing something right, and I need to take that plunge rather than saying this for my entire life that I could have done, but my parents didn't allow. This is something I need to do, and I had that trust in myself. Thankfully, after 1 year, things picked up, and I went next year. I told them, obviously. So not happy. Like they were like, okay, fine, you did good, but you should have informed us. But they kind of understood. So I guess this is something you have to decide for yourself. That what you're doing, there's a very fine line between having confidence and then having this overconfidence. Like if same thing I might have done like 3, 4 years back, I might have not been able to take care of my expenses also because I was hardly 6 to 7 months into the job. I didn't have sufficient amount of saving. This time I knew I have saving for almost 1 year for myself or 1.5 years. So the approach has to be very calculated. So if you have to do it, and if I like, the story of my co-founder Aditya, even that was not very rosy. Like he was also like, he was also having certain problems, but we took that plunge, and there was, I'll say, fairly high chance that we could have failed. There was good amount of chance. Like we know, like there's a huge rate of failure, but then I knew that I would rather live with this thing that I failed rather than that I didn't try. I cannot live with that particular feeling that I didn't try. That's just not, me. So that this is why I took
Hmm.
that plan. So whosoever wants to do, I guess they should just go for it. And like I said, the approach should be calculated. You should know that we have seen there are many 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are doing really amazing. And then there are many 30, 35-year-olds who are failing at startups. So it's not that age is the right thing, but if you think you have the maturity to take care of yourself and to face the result for next 1 year, because it is not going to be easy. You go alone and it's going to be difficult, but if you're ready to take it, just go for it. I guess things will fall in place eventually, one after the other.
Very interesting. So what I really found interesting is first you really wanted to start up and you really wanted to
Yeah.
do something of your own,
Yeah.
and you did not want to have regrets later on in life. कि at late years, 40s, 50s, you are like, अरे वो मैंने कर लिया होता तब कैसा होता. So you just did not want to have that,
Yeah.
and you went with an intuition even against your parents, practically forged your offer letter,
Yeah.
and then set this one up. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm curious, what have been some learnings in this journey of yours?
Okay. So I'll say a lot of learnings. I guess last
Hmm.
3, 4 years has been, I'll say, every day there's a new learning. I guess there's a lot I can share. The first one is that, that I think one thing that I really learned was patience. So I was patience as in that you need to keep doing and you will get the result. What used to happen, like giving an example, like if let's say we are, like even the investment period, if I talk about it, the day you close your investment to, the day money hits the bank, it's a good amount of time. It's 3 months of time you have your DD and you have your everything. Every day used to be really difficult. So I eventually realized that I have two ways I can pass these days. I either be anxious all the time or I just be patient that if things have fallen in place so far, they will fall in place. Second, very important thing, I guess this is the first most important thing actually, is that you need to
Hmm.
build the right team. If you need to have a successful company, successful startup, successful venture, you just cannot do it without the right team. You need to hire right. So what has happened that if you are hiring wrong people, you're doing bad
Hmm.
to the company and you're doing bad to that person as well. So there should be clear expectation setting that this is going to be, this is what the job demands. If you can take it, you should come. If you cannot take it, you should not come. And many times what we do is that we don't keep our interview process as rigorous as the job is going to be. This is a serious mistake that we have committed. And when the person comes in, then we expect the person to do a really rigorous job. So I think that interview versus the job, what job is demanding, the interview process should be rigorous. Rather, you should. So again, like if you hire the wrong person, you're not just doing bad. You're losing time, right? You're waiting for the notice period to get over. You're waiting for the hiring process. That person leaves job, comes to your organization, and after 1, 2 months, I have done it a lot. This is why I'm telling you that, and then we tell that person that I think it's not working out. So it's bad for that person also. So this has been biggest learning, and I'll say that I will make this mistakes again, but the agenda is to make it as less as possible. You cannot ignore it 100%. We are not like face readers ki face dekh ke we'll get to know that this person is going to work hard or not. So I think this has been, I'll say, a good learning. And I'll say this people skill is something that I'm still learning. So you asked me this question, what makes you angry? So like I said, that I get angry very frequently. So something you really need to work upon yourself. Like you feel that on everyday basis, as an entrepreneur, a lot is expected from you. Your team is looking up to you. I'll say you're talking to investors, talking to customers. You are setting an example. So you have to keep working on yourself. You can't be like, I am like this and I'm not going to change. That is like not possible. You have to do it and you have to do it on daily basis. So I think these are few learnings that I can think of, and I guess there is a lot. There is a lot.
These are very interesting learnings. So the first one that I captured from you, which is the second one that you said, is build the right team.
Yeah.
The right teams make a lot of difference. And I really like the fact that you highlighted, hey, we try to make the interview process very easy.
Yeah.
And don't really prepare the person for the kind of rigor that's subsequently going to hit the person. And that is perhaps a mistake that a lot of startups make. And then you have to have
Yeah.
subsequent difficult conversations with
Yeah.
individuals. So that's one
Yeah.
thing. The second thing that I captured from you is the right people skills, right? Make sure you
Yeah.
have the right people skills so that they feel empowered, they feel excited about the work that you are trying to do. And the third one, which was the first that you mentioned, is to make sure that you have tons and tons and tons of patience in whatever it is that you are doing. Is that
Yeah.
fair?
Yeah. Right.
Excellent, excellent. I think fantastic points, all of them. Mamta, you're a woman and you're a woman in entrepreneurship. That actually makes you a very rarefied person, right? And then in entrepreneurship, you're in the tech part of it, which
Yeah.
I think you can just count people in one hand, perhaps, right? Um,
Yeah.
did you feel any difference vis-a-vis male colleagues? Why do you think women are less in tech entrepreneurship overall?
Yeah. So I'll say ki there have been few instances, even when, I'll give you a very small example. Like, we are two people, like two co-founders. It's me and it's Aditya. By default, if you sit on a table, a new person is coming, anyone, be it the investor, be it the other person, they will think that the male counterpart is the main guy. Let's put it that way. He must be the one who is driving and she's just following up. This is the default mindset, which eventually changes. Like when they start working with you, they will realize, no, it's equal. She's doing her own part and he's doing his own part. But this is a default mindset I've seen with multiple people. They will come and talk directly to him and not me. Like I have to barge in. I literally have to barge in to put my points. So obviously, if you are in this field, you eventually start getting that thing, that I have to do it. You get habituated. Initially, I would just, again, I would be like, what is happening? But then eventually you understand this is how it is and you're here to change it. Maybe after meeting you, next time when they sit on a table where there's a, there's a male founder and a female founder, maybe he or she will treat equally. So I'll say, but there hasn't been any major incidents. These small things have been there and it just happens naturally. I'll say this is how things are and maybe they will change eventually. And even in tech for that matter, even when I was working, people assume that, women are not that good in tech compared to, again, men. So those things are there. There have been instances, not even when I was having my own startup. It has been when I was in college for that matter. In college, if I think in my branch, if there were 100 students, there were nine, females they were out there. So they will always be like, that you will hear these comments that if, for that matter, I heard this in one of my college bus only that, oh, she got this job, she must be good at dancing. And she got a tech job. And I literally, like, obviously, I told that guy that you should go and see the resume. So I didn't leave that guy. He will be remembering for the rest of his life. But you hear, these kind of comments that are out there. But I'll say, now I know how to tackle those situations. I don't get too disappointed. Earlier I would get too disappointed that why am I not getting treated equally, or for that matter, why is it that I have to prove myself. It is not happening for the other person that he has to prove, but I have to prove myself. But I think eventually when you work, when you people get to know you, they realize that it's beyond being being a man or a woman. This she is a woman of substance, or they start seeing beyond your gender. They just start looking you as an entrepreneur or as a tech person. So you have to, I'll say, you have to go through that journey. And I just hope this eventually keeps changing. And why we have so less people, I guess it's because of the way things are, from the childhood. I think this I said in one of my recent talks as well, that the way we are, we grow up and the way guys grow up, it's very different. They are not asked to keep it low, or for that matter, don't go out, these kind of things. But from childhood, even if I have to go and take notes from my friend's place, I guess it's also because your parents feel that they have to keep you secure, but that is not the case with guys. Or for that matter, for us, if you see this way also, that for me, doing engineering was an option. I could have not done it. I could have simply done some normal thing and I could have gotten married. Then also my life would have been fine. But for a guy, having a job is mandatory. So I'll say it's because of the way we grow up. And if you will see, what happens is that in school, the ratio of, it's not bad. Let's say if there's a class of, 50 students, there'll be 20 girls and 40 boys. As you keep on growing up the ladder, in engineering, it becomes even less. Because another thing is that many of my female friends, they got married the moment they passed their plus two and they were married. So obviously there is going to be a gap. And then tech people, it is, the way it is, we have in mind that it's tech is tough and all of that. Some, many of my female friends, they chose options like teaching and things like that, because obviously the way things were, unko bola ki teaching is easy, you will get eventually to have work life balance. And then eventually
Correct.
my many of my friends, they got married in when I was just in my first or second year of my job, and they left the job. And eventually you get married, then it becomes difficult. And then if you will see, as you keep on going up the ladder, this number keeps on reducing. So I think it's because of the way we live in the society. And again, I strongly feel this should change, and this should, I think it has started changing now. The parents that are out there, they don't have these kind of a differentiation. They push their, they push their daughters as much as they do with their son. Like our parents also, the reason I'm here, because my parents, they didn't were like they were not like, that we will get her married just after plus two. So, or for that matter, that why are you doing engineering? Why not don't you do something? I will not let you go out of the city. So these things were not with me. So I think these things matter a lot, but it will be changing.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Mamta, what would your advice be to the women out there who want to try something of their own but are hesitant, or something's there, or perhaps don't have as supportive parents or an ecosystem that you had? What would some of your advice elements be for them?
Okay. So to women, I always say go for it. Just go for it. Don't, people will think that you are selfish, and you might have to stand against your own people. It's easy to stand against the world, but it's difficult to stand against your own people. You might be standing against your own husband or your own brother or your own daughter or son, and have that guilt inside you that you are sacrificing your personal life because of the career that you have. So, but I would say go for it, because at the end of the day, when you will be successful, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, when you will be successful, these will be the people who will come back and congratulate you and will say that I'm very proud of you. I have seen people who were literally anti in my initial journey, and now they come back and say that I'm so proud that I stayed with you, or for that matter, I'm so proud that I know you, or you have
Hmm.
really, for that matter, people who are from, far from my village, they come back and they say that they are really proud of me. So just cross that initial hurdle and control your emotions to some extent, and just go for it, give your best, and then trust me, you will have that success, and people will come back to you and will say that they are proud of you. So just go for it.
Fantastic. I think what fantastic advice. And I think it's actually very gender neutral as well.
Yeah.
So you're saying go for it, decide what you want and go for it. You will
Yeah.
have hurdles, work your way through them one by one, stay your course. And then the very people who put the hurdles or who felt you couldn't do it will come back to congratulate you and perhaps will be your greatest spokesperson anywhere. Is that right?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Fantastic. We're pretty much at the end of our time over here. Mamta, as we bring our episode to a close, what would some advice that would be that you'd like to share with any of our listeners? What are some tips that you'd like to share with people?
Okay. So my tip always, I'll say what I said previously also, is to just go for what you really want. First of all, ask yourself that, do I really want this? Because I talk to so many people, especially, people who are like my age. They are like not happy with what they are doing currently. They want to do something else, but they just make a web that this is the problem, this is the problem, this is why I'm not able to do it. These kind of things. This is, I would actually give two advice. This is for anyone, not just people who are working in a startup or so. So what I have realized is that no matter what sort of problems you have, if you really want to go for it, you can do it. And if you're not happy with what you're doing currently, then you should just, I'll say, plan how to get out of it and just go for that particular thing. Not just ki aaj hi ute, like there are a lot of reels on Instagram. Like every day you go in office and you're like, after I will quit, and then you don't quit. So I'm not saying, like, you might be the happiest person in your job. not a problem. It's absolutely okay to have a job, that is giving you money, that is taking care of your family, and you're happy about it. Not a problem. So at the end of the day, you should be happy with what you're doing, and if not, figure out what makes you happy and do that particular thing or whatever prep is required. Maybe you have, I'll say, right now you are at a certain stage where you have kids to take care of, family to take care of, then go ahead and have that savings plan so that you can eventually, not today, maybe after 5 years, you can leave your job. And I had this thing in mind that, your journey can start anytime. It's not that you can do it in early 20s or early 30s. You can do it anytime in your life. So this is something what I have seen people around struggling a lot, especially with this whole, corporate thing that is out there. So this is one thing I suggest. Secondly, I would like to give an advice to all the folks who want to start up on their own, that you just need to hang in there. It will be difficult. You will have days when you will feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? It why no one told me it's going to be this difficult. But you just need to hang in there. You just need to talk to people who have done it, and you will eventually get success. And even if you fail, the learning that you are going to have, the person that you will evolve into, that is going to be there with you for lifetime. So just hang in there.
I think fantastic pieces of advice over there. Hang in there for whatever it is worth, and it will be fruitful. And also be happy in what you're doing. And if you're not happy, have the courage and the guts to go to do what you're doing. You're not a victim of whatever has happened in the past.
Yeah, right.
Mamta, for your time and for your thoughts, thank you so much. I think it's been a
Thank you.
fantastic session. Loved interacting with you, especially your smile.
Thank
Please
you.
keep your fantastic work going as you move forward into the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I guess the way you were summarizing what I was saying, I guess that was amazing. Like, the way you were summarizing the thoughts and putting it in one or two lines, that was amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you for having me.
All right. Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, Vivek.